Welcome to The Explainer. We spend a lot of time looking at the daily news, but today we're going to look at the blueprint behind the news. We're going to explore the hidden architecture that shapes pretty much everything, from global conflicts to the phone in your hand. So let's dive in and see how the world is really put together.
When you look at the world, does it ever feel like just one chaotic thing after another, just random events? Or is there something more? A kind of hidden blueprint, a set of rules that governs how it all works? Well, that's our big question for today. And stick with me here because I think by the end of this, you'll start to see the design behind what looks like chaos.
So, to understand this whole global architecture, we've got to start at the very beginning, the foundation. Why does politics even exist in the first place? Well, it really boils down to three simple, fundamental truths about us. It all starts with this simple, inescapable fact. From our families to entire nations, we are social creatures. It's just what we do. We form groups for safety, for a sense of identity, for cooperation. This right here is the foundational building block for everything that comes next.
Okay, so once you have groups, you inevitably get competition. It's just bound to happen. Whether it's for land, or water, or wealth, or even just influence, resources are limited, and different groups are always going to want to secure those resources for themselves. And here is the absolutely crucial third piece of the puzzle. Unlike inside a country where you have a government, there is no world government. There's no global 911 to call when things go really wrong. No one has the ultimate authority to enforce the rules on everybody else.
So, what do you get when you mix those three ingredients together? You get the international system we're all living in right now. It's anarchic, and that doesn't mean it's total chaos. It just means there's no single boss. It's competitive because of that fight for scarce resources, and it's fundamentally uncertain because at the end of the day, no one can truly guarantee your security.
And this is a really important insight. When you strip everything else away, politics isn't really about lofty ideals. It's the raw, organized management of these very primal forces. The fear of being wiped out, the endless search for power to prevent it, and the ultimate bottom-line goal of survival.
Now, this system wasn't born yesterday, not by a long shot. Humans have been trying to manage this exact problem for thousands of years. So let's take a quick tour through the different blueprints for world order that we've tried out throughout history.
If you look at this timeline, and you can really see the evolution. We started with massive empires, like Rome, that used pure conquest to create order. Then came the feudal order, where power was all tied up with religion. Then a huge shift in 1648 gave birth to the nation-state system we basically still live in today. But then that system got supercharged by technology, leading to the crazy destruction of 2 world wars. Out of that wreckage, we got the Cold War, that tense 50-year standoff. And now? Well, now we're in a new, multipolar world, where power is shifting all over again.
Okay, so that's the history. But how does this system actually work day to day? What are the gears that really make this whole machine turn?
It really boils down to a 3-step process. First, every country has interests. They want to be safe, they want to be wealthy, and they want to be respected. Simple enough. Second, to get those things, they need power. And third, they create institutions, think of things like the UN or NATO, to try and manage the competition for power and hopefully make things a little less uncertain.
Now let's just break down this idea of power, because it's not just one thing. We all get hard power. That's the easy one. It's tanks and jets and armies. And you've probably heard of soft power. That's the appeal of a country's culture and its ideas. But maybe the most important type today is structural power. This is the ability to write the rules of the game itself. Think about it, controlling the currency that most of the world uses for trade, or setting the technical standards for the internet. That is some serious power, and it shapes just about everything.
All right, so beneath all the history and the day-to-day mechanics, there's a deeper logic playing out, a recurring pattern, a cycle that has repeated itself over and over for centuries. And if you can grasp this cycle, you're on your way to understanding world politics.
It all begins with some kind of order. Whenever a system gets set up, whether it's an empire or a new trade agreement, it's just never perfectly fair. By its very design, it's going to create winners and losers. It will always benefit some groups more than others.
So what happens when you have that kind of inequality? Well, eventually, the groups that feel left out or held down are going to challenge the system. They'll demand changes. They'll try to rewrite the rules that they see as unfair. And you know what? That's pretty much inevitable.
And that challenge, well, it often leads to a period of instability and, sometimes conflict. The old order gets put under massive pressure. Sometimes it bends, but a lot of the time it breaks. This is that turbulent phase where the entire structure can get reconfigured.
And then, out of that conflict, a new order is born. The winners of that struggle set up a new system with new rules that are designed to protect their interests, which, of course, creates a brand new set of inequalities, and the entire cycle just kicks off all over again.
And this cycle, this really reveals the grand insight of it all. The entire complicated game of world politics is really just this, a continuous, endless attempt to create some stability in a world that is, by its very nature, permanently uncertain.
Now, you might be thinking, okay, this is all very interesting, but what on earth does it have to do with me? And the answer to that is everything. This giant abstract system reaches right into our daily lives in ways you might not even realize.
That competition between nations we are talking about, it determines your access to technology, like 5G or AI. It absolutely affects the value of the money in your bank account. It dictates how much funding goes to scientific research, your ability to maybe study abroad, and even the quality and the kind of information you see online. You are not separate from the system. You are living right inside it.
So how do you even begin to navigate this incredibly complex world? Well, it's not about becoming some political genius overnight. It's about developing a new kind of competence kit. It means having historical intelligence, so you can see these repeating cycles as they happen. It means using strategic analysis to see the real interest hiding behind the headlines. Developing systems thinking to spot those hidden connections. Honing your communication skills. And finally, cultivating moral clarity so you can navigate tough choices. This is your personal toolkit for the 21st century.
And that really brings us to our final and most crucial point. Understanding the architecture of world politics isn't about picking a side or cheering for a team. It's about developing strategic literacy. It's about learning to read the blueprint of the world so you can move through it more effectively. The question isn't whether you're in the game, because believe me, you are. The only question is, how well do you understand the rules?